am Ashley.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Allie, and we are the Buzzketeers.
So thank you for joining us on episode 2. This is just a podcast that we are dedicating basically to our love of all things Disney and our friendship for one another, which was honestly, it started at Disneyland out in California. So last podcast, we had talked about overrated films, underrated films. Luckily, we didn't argue that too much. I'm really waiting for something to happen where one of us is just super passionate about it.
Yes.
But like I said, our friendship started back at Disneyland in California. And last time I mentioned that Allie and I had done a Load Wars with Star Tours and that she made me a pin. We did, and she wrote on here like how many we did, and we pushed through 1,427 people through in 1 hour on Star Tours, which is a lot of people to push through on 4 cabins.
It's a lot. It makes you really appreciate like the wait times too, because people are like, oh, that's such a long wait, but like think about how many people actually go through there in an hour.
Yeah, well, because you have to consider like breakdowns and if there's a seat that's not working properly, like all that kind of stuff.
I will say this much. I'm pretty sure on that day we didn't have any broken seat. I think it was
if we were at 1427, there had to have been at least one broken one, or like we just messed up grouping a little bit because there's 40 seats in each speeder.
Well, it resets at the top of the hour too. Remember that. So it could end on an odd number. But yeah, so basically me and Allie were what you would call turnstile badasses. That's what I tell myself at least.
I also got a 4 keys card from Gina in management at Autopia for grouping. So
hey, I'm not gonna say you weren't. You were in a totally different attraction though. Me and Allie,
just grouping at a different attraction.
Yeah, that was it. So I can't include you in on it. But actually, I'm friends with Gina on Facebook. So hi Gina, if you're watching this. And it's so funny because I never thought she really knew who I was, because management, from my experience, was not exactly super close to all the frontline workers.
Not as far as attractions goes.
Not as far as attractions goes, but Gina was the one I felt. All of them were really nice. I felt Gina was the one who was the most in touch with everyone. And I specifically remember one day I was working Buzz Lightyear. This was after college program. It was Christmas time and we were down for whatever reason. And this woman came up to me and she told me that her son and daughter had basically ditched her at Disneyland. And she was basically walking around by herself. And Gina was out front with me. And I had in my pocket what you call re-ads. They were readmission passes for basically any attraction. And anytime someone would come up to me and tell them that their family ditched them, I just thought that was unacceptable, and it would set me off, and I would just give them not as many re-ads as I could, because there is kind of a limit before people go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But I think 3 was usually my max, and Gina was out there, and this woman was telling me the whole thing and how she really wanted to go on Buzz because she's by herself, and I was like, what are 3 rides you want to go to on today that you didn't get to go on yet? She goes, oh, well, Pirates of the Caribbean's been really busy. Peter Pan, which always has a really long line. Like I said, it's one of my favorite rides. And I think there was some other it might have been Space Mountain or Thunder Mountain. It was probably a roller coaster or something. And I just stood there and I wrote 3 re-ads for her. I gave them to her and I told her, I was like, so you tell your kids next time you see them that if they had been hanging out with you, they would have gone on these rides, but they weren't, so you went without them while they had to wait in line. And Gina was so cool about it. She looked at me and goes, that's a great thing that you did for that woman. And I said, I mean, her kids ditched her. Like, she's at Disneyland. It's a family. Walt built Disneyland for families to be together. Like, if you're going to ditch your mom, like, I've got no respect for you. Yeah, I got a hell of a lot of respect for your mom. So guess what? She's going to have fun while your ass is in line.
Yeah, and no doubt she probably paid for most of or all of their tickets too.
Oh, true. Yeah. So Gina tells me, without missing a beat, she goes, I'll be right back. You need more re-ads.
Oh,
that's awesome.
See, it's interesting because in attractions, like, I worked in attractions and stores, very different areas, very different sort of interactions and focuses.
Yeah.
And so in attractions, like obviously everything's very efficiency and safety based. And sometimes, unfortunately, courtesy maybe falls below because even though efficiency is the last key of the 4 keys.
I was going to say, really quick, tell the audience if
Safety,
they don't know.
courtesy,
Safety,
show,
courtesy,
efficiency.
And efficiency. You got to know the 4 keys. That's the key concept.
Yes, those are our 4 keys at Disney: safety, courtesy, show, efficiency. Efficiency is our last key, but it is a very important key to attractions, and sometimes, unfortunately, becomes probably the second key under safety. And so you didn't see your managers a lot, and it's nice hearing that, like, about Gina, because I didn't know any of my managers personally in attractions at all. I didn't even get my first check-in because they were doing a Pirates evac, which that's fine. Like, Pirates evacs are crazy.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the problem, though, is that when we were going through it, because I would like to believe that things have changed.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is that when you're an attractions manager, you're not just you're a manager for multiple attractions.
Yeah.
So if Space Mountain went down, most of the managers went over to help at Space, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then you had people doing GSO and doing different things, because I went from being, even though my experience with Gina was at Buzz Lightyear, my manager at Buzz Lightyear was Cindy. And Cindy and I actually kind of got closer the longer I had been there, because she was doing more GSO and I was doing GSO, because I think she did GSO in Monorail, but she was doing a lot of, for whatever reason, I just had a lot of interaction with her.
You know, it's funny. I think Cindy ended up in Pantone retail.
I think Gina's
when
doing something different now too.
When we split again, this is all very Disney talk. Sorry to any non-Disney cast members.
What are they talking about? I need to know.
Yeah. Anyway, bottom line is we had some really good managers.
Yeah.
We had some really good managers who really had our backs, and when we were doing well, they recognized it, whether it was out at guest control for parades and fireworks, known as GSO, or whether it was evacing an attraction like Buzz Lightyear. Like, we all had pretty much positive interactions with their managers. I think the only downfall that we can find is the fact that we didn't have more of them, but the ones that we had were good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of the good interactions, I remember the first time I got called up to the manager's office, and I was like, did something happen? Like, did I do something wrong? Like, what? Calling you to them. And I was like, I'm here to see, I don't even remember which of like the 3 managers I was there to see that was there that day. And I was like, hi. They're like, so, do you know why you're here? And I was like, no.
I'm assuming I got fired, but I really don't know.
And I was like, no, what's up? And they're like, well, you got a guest compliment. And I was like, oh my God, I thought I was getting fired. I thought I did something wrong. And they're like, no, you thought you were getting called up here for something bad? And I was like, I didn't know. Like, it was so ominous.
Sounds scary when they say the managers want to see you.
Yeah, especially if you're like at that point, because I mean, like, I never continued on after being a CP, and I was like, did I F up? Like, am I getting fired?
Yeah, because you never saw the managers' interactions. It sounded scary when a manager wanted to see you.
Eventually, I kind of got used to it, which I think, Nicole, you know what that's like because you've been there. Nicole still works at Disneyland. So
well, it's very different with managers and stores. Like, we work very closely with our managers. We see them every day, several times a day. So very different, kind of. Yeah. It's not scary. When you talk to a manager, it's just like, okay.
Yeah. But like,
you actually get your check-ins on time and stuff.
Well, you get used to it too. It's just like, oh, they're not, even though they're my manager, they are human. They're not these people who we really hardly ever see. And I think in attractions, there's just so many moving parts that even if your manager was there, there's a good chance you're not going to see your manager.
Oh yeah, I've had amazing managers that came from attractions and stores, and it's just, attractions is just a different ballgame.
But, you know, I think that being afraid is kind of like a Disney theme, whether it is a villain or your manager. So,
good segue.
Speaking of which, For real though, I think there's a lot of things that go with Disney with scary, mainly the villains. I think that in recent years, villains have kind of resurged as kind of this thing that it's kind of cool to be a villain. And I mean, I guess I agree and disagree on that. I mean, a villain's a villain, but some of them are pretty awesome. So my top 3 villains are Hades, Yzma, and Scar. So Scar to me is one of the best villains because he's going out to, he not only kills his brother, but he attempts to murder his nephew.
Mhm.
And like we all know
Yeah.
that this is just a Hamlet Disneyfied, right? Turned into talking animals. But he like
Yep.
the song Be Prepared still like on the inside, it gives me chills. It's my favorite Disney villain song. Like you can't tell me there's a better song than that for villains. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just like if I tell you be prepared, I know the 3 of you probably one of your first thoughts is like hyenas in the background doing the Nazi march. Like, because I mean, because that's what they really are doing. And let's be real,
I mean, yes.
that's what it is. But, you know, it's just such a classic. It's someone that you love to hate. Like, I hate that he's my favorite. I've seen some memes lately about people commenting about how, like, they leave a pile of clothes on the floor, and when they turn off the lights, it looks like something scary. Yeah, for me, if it's something on the floor, I kid you not, it looks like it's Scar. I am 28 years old, and if I still look at stuff, like, on the floor in the dark, you know, I'm just like, oh my God, do I really want to get out of bed, or is this thing gonna eat me? Even though I know it's just a pile of jeans, you know?
There you go. There you go.
So,
Fight or
like,
flight.
I am, so I will willingly admit that. It's not necessarily the thing I'm most proud of, but there's that. So Scar is definitely my number.
It's on the internet now forever, so.
I know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not proud of it. My number 2 is Yzma, because if you know me at all, you know that I make things way more complicated than they ever have to be. There's not always, but there's usually a simpler solution to a problem, and
No
I
comment.
overcomplicate it. Shut up, Allie. But you know,
I said no comment, mind you.
the whole concept, I'm gonna turn him into a flea, and I'm gonna put that flea in a box, and then I'm gonna put that box in a bigger box, and I'm gonna mail that box to me, and then when it gets to me, I'm gonna smash it with a hammer. That is me to a T. And then there's Allie in the background being like Kronk, you know, being like, hey, or you could just use this. And I'd be like, oh my God, that's such an easier solution. And then I'd still mess that up.
Yeah, he would turn into a llama or
He
something.
would turn into a llama, or, you know, I would turn into a cat and not figure it out. And then in the sequel, end up with a cat tail. I mean, who knows? I also love Yzma because one name, Eartha Kitt.
Oh my God, yes, she's iconic.
She is iconic in so many ways. And for her to be a Disney villain, I think, and for her to go down in history like that, I think it's a fantastic way for her to be remembered, because not only is she remembered in The Emperor's New Groove for being the villain, as well as Kronk's New Groove, she's also remembered in the TV show, which is on Disney Plus, which I've been watching, which I remembered is not as good as I thought it was, but hey, I still watch it because my son likes it. So like
close to sponsorship from Disney Plus.
They sponsor us.
Then you
we need
ruined
money.
it. Then you ruined it.
But
I'll edit that out.
I still watch it. I still watch Kronk's, or not Kronk's New Groove. I still watch that too, but I still watch the Emperor's, what is it? Yeah, it's the Emperor's New Groove, right?
Yeah.
Just the TV show.
Emperor's New School is the TV
Emperor's
show.
New School, that's right.
Yes.
And then, you know, her color is the color purple. And that's like my favorite color. So, I mean, she's got 3 things going for her right there.
Color purple.
Or not, I mean, no, not the color purple. You know what? I knew when I said that you were going to be like, oh, hey, the color purple. No.
Different kind of segue. I mean, we could go into theater. That's fine. That's my alleyway.
I mean,
I'm not drunk enough for that.
All right.
So,
well, third villain?
And then my third villain is the funniest villain out there. If you do not like this villain, I don't need you in my life. Like, let's just leave that. Let's just blanket statement that, okay? It is Hades, Lord of the Dead. Like, how can you not love Hades? Number one, he's played by James Wood, okay? That man has been in so many Family Guy episodes. Between Family Guy and Hercules. He's just one of those people that I just want to have a beer with and be like, James, just talk to me. Because, like, you know, hey, I'm having marriage issues. Like, tell me what to do. And I would love to hear all the puns that come out of his mouth and how, like, he's just like, hey, what do you want to do about it? I don't know. You know, I would love to hear those types of things. And then, like, he talks so quickly and it makes me feel so good because I can follow it. Because I talk quickly usually. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, Allie's like, yeah, you talk real quick. Like, I don't even know if I'm talking quick right now. I'm probably talking quick.
I talk fast too. I mean, I stumble over my words.
Really?
Did it not happen earlier?
I know. I guess you do talk quick too.
Talk so fast, I trip on my tongue.
I mean,
is that a thing? Is that a thing?
That's talking... I've said that for years. I don't know.
I haven't heard it. That's the first time I've heard you say it.
Well,
there's a first time for everything. But yeah, I mean, like, Hades. And then, you know, he's just one of those people where it's like he takes the time to figure out how to kill a god. And he takes the time to develop this whole plan. And he dedicates his life to it for 18 years. Guys, I haven't dedicated my life to anything for 18 years other than breathing and waking up every day. I dedicated my life, and those are good things. But, like, other than literally physically being alive, I haven't dedicated anything in my life, you know, part of my life to that. Like, yeah, like, I dedicate.
Just wait another 17 and some odd parts of
I know, and then I can say that I dedicated it to my kid, but, like,
yeah, the moment you got pregnant, you dedicated your life to something for 18 years.
Minimum. 18 years minimum.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm 18. Or not, I mean, I'm
18. Whoa! Hold the
You're
phone.
18 now? We're lying?
You shouldn't be drinking. Young lady.
Take her alcohol away, please.
All right, guys. Ashley has had way too much to drink. We cannot continue Buzzketeers today.
I haven't dedicated 18 years of my life thus far. I'm 28. Thus far.
Semantics.
I'm sorry. The moment you got pregnant, you dedicated your life to 18 years.
No.
Yeah.
I dedicate my life every day to him. But who's to say I'll live another 18 years? Like, God help me. I pray that I do. I pray I live a long time. But
why
that's my point.
Keep getting dark.
Because we're talking about villains. And you know who's a dark villain? Hades, because he literally lives in the underworld in the dark. So, because you brought up the darkness, Allie, who's your top three?
Well, Hades is obviously in my top three. It's hard to choose, honestly, when it comes to Disney villains because there's so many great ones. But I have Hades, I have Cruella de Vil, and Maleficent. So to continue on Hades, I mean, who doesn't love a villain who's a charmer, right? He schmoozes his way through life, and he's good at it. And I'm like, dude, can I be that good at it? Because I would love to be.
I've gotten almost as good as it.
Oh,
not quite there.
I want to see that. Also, he's very sassy, which I mean, I'm a little bit sassy. So I kind of like identify with him on that sassy and sarcastic level.
Hey, Nicole, did you just get that notification on your iPhone? That hell just froze over?
Oh my God. I'm like checking my iPhone. Also, wait, Ashley, you don't have an iPhone.
I know.
So it's been a good run for the Buzzketeers. This is our last episode of the podcast.
I love you,
Anyway,
Allie.
He's a guy.
He's a guy. I know. I haven't seen as much love since Narcissus saw himself.
Oh.
Anyway, so Hades. Who doesn't love the god of the underworld?
For real,
I love him.
Also, he's purely evil. If you really think about it, like, he plotted to kill a baby who was his nephew. I mean, you gotta give him villain props there.
He's a baby
and
killer.
just
That's
the
sad.
sass and the puns and everything, and the fact that when he's angry, which ironically his blue flames, which are a hotter burning flame, turn to orange flames when he's mad. I've always I find it so ironic. I
think it's the more
just
the
a
concept
color scheme
that,
choice.
I think it's a color scheme choice, but then I think too it's just like when you add more fuel to the fire, it doesn't turn blue, it turns red.
That's true. It takes that moment.
All right. Never thought of it like that.
I make lots of bonfires. I live in BFE.
What?
Right. So, my next villain.
Who's your number 2?
So my next villain is Cruella de Vil, whose last name is literally Devil.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that. Also, speaking of killing innocent things, she wants to skin hundreds of puppies to make a coat. Look at your pet. First of all, I have 2. Look at your pet right now and consider if somebody walked up to you and said, I'll give you X number of dollars if you let me murder your child so that I can make a coat out of them. And people go along with it. Like, she got Horse and Jasper, her little henchmen dudes, ended up getting puppies from pet stores. They stole dogs, like all this stuff, just so they could have 100. No, they had 99 puppies because there's 101, right? So Pongo and Perdita count. So 99 puppies to make a coat. Also, I don't think it takes 99 puppies to make one coat. How big is that coat supposed to be?
Well, I think it was like it wasn't just like a coat though. I think it was more like a long, it had a train and stuff. But isn't it kind of scary?
100 puppies worth?
Oh, no, I'm not arguing that. But isn't it kind of freaky how I believe it was like Dr. House and Arthur Weasley were the bad guys in the live action?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, they were. And also, Glenn Close did a darn good job as Cruella.
Glenn Close is a fantastic actress.
Her in the beginning of 102 Dalmatians, like, oh my God. We're not going to talk about 102 Dalmatians because there's so much wrong with that movie, but like, let's move back to Cruella de Vil herself. Cool.
She is so evil, Allie, though. You're right.
She's horrible. And like, the thing is, one thing that I just can't get over is that her and Anita were school friends. So how old is she? Because Anita looks like a young 20, maybe 30 something, and Cruella looks like she's 100.
Don't do cigarettes, kids.
Exactly. Don't smoke. That's gonna mess you up. And also, like, she's when we get into like, because like Hades doesn't have this, but like you look at like most Disney villains and they have that classic like green smoke around them a lot of the time. Well, Cruella creates her own with the cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
And also like the song that Roger sings like is a classic. Can't deny it.
I feel like even if you don't know Disney, you know Cruella de Vil.
Mm-hmm. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. Like, that's a statement.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about a normal person.
I know, but I mean, like, moving on, like, not just talking about an evil thing, but also like another evil thing is Maleficent, who's my other one, who also goes with like the green trope of like the smoke and all the green and all that. And she's purple too, so that kind of ties back in with your Yzma bit. But also Maleficent's like, you didn't invite me to your party, lol, okay, say goodbye to your daughter. I'm gonna put her into a slumber. Okay, bye. Like,
yes.
Whoa. Also, tying back to Cruella, her little crow dude is named Diablo, which is also devil. So like, really, really clear on intentions there, Disney.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, Maleficent's a wonderful villain. I'm not even gonna get into like the fact that Sleeping Beauty is probably my least favorite Disney movie other than Frozen ever. Aurora is really boring, guys. You gotta admit it.
She's only awake for like 10 minutes of the movie.
She only has 15 minutes of airtime.
Yeah.
In the whole movie.
So boring.
That's what happens when you're only given 10 minutes of, attention.
Yeah. I mean, like, they should have, the live action Maleficent was really good. They should have made Sleeping Beauty Maleficent, like, called it that in the first place, and made it about their real star, who was Maleficent. And also, she can turn herself into a dragon, and that's kind of badass. And, like, who doesn't want to be able to turn into a dragon? And then like,
yeah.
But the three other fairies like can't overpower her, and I mean that's how can you beat that? Those are my top 3. How about you, Nicole?
I think Maleficent is just misunderstood.
I agree. The fact
like,
that she was the only one not invited, though, I mean, like, shoot, man, that would be so heartbreaking.
Yeah, but like, I mean, the live action shows us that King Stephen kind of screwed her over, and she's like, oh, so you're gonna betray me one way and then not invite me to your party, like F you, man.
That's true.
I'm gonna get mine.
Yeah.
So Maleficent is one of my top as well, but I don't actually like the live action because I enjoy Maleficent being fully evil just for the sake of being evil, because she is called the mistress of all evil.
That's true.
Sleeping Beauty.
True, yeah.
That's true.
She is the mistress of all evil. She doesn't need a reason to curse your daughter for not inviting her. She just wants to do it because she's evil. And that's what makes her cool. I don't need to like have Maleficent humanized. There's a huge trend with humanizing villains, which I mean, I like, because no one is truly like, yes, there are some very evil people in this world.
Oh, yeah.
But most of the time, for most normal people, nothing is truly black and white. Everything is shades of gray. She is the only villain who is evil for the sake of being evil, and that's what I enjoy about her.
I think that as a kid watching it, I didn't understand the whole mistress of evil thing. I didn't understand why someone would be evil for the sake of being evil, but rewatching the animated movie as an adult, it is so much, there's so much anger and angst. It just makes you wonder, like, what the hell turns you into someone like that? And I think you're right. There is a trend for Disney movies right now where the villain has to have a backstory. And I think a part of the great thing about the original Disney movies, and I say original as in, you know, the first ones.
OGs.
The OGs that were like, you know,
Walt Disney.
OG for our parents, and like Walt had a touch in him.
Yeah.
I feel like those movies, they didn't need a backstory. It just became something we wanted and then we got it. But they really didn't need a backstory, and a part of the attraction to the characters like Maleficent was the fact that we didn't know her backstory. All we knew was that she was just a raging crazy person who wanted to kill a girl on her but didn't, because, you know, the fairies stepped in, and just had the ability to turn into a dragon.
Yeah, which is awesome. And her design, the little horns and everything. Ooh. I love it.
For sure. So who's your number 2, Nicole?
My number 2 is going to be Ursula.
Ooh.
Ursula.
So underrated.
Little Mermaid is obviously one of my favorites. As a redhead, I identified with Ariel a lot. It's weird growing up as a redhead. Won't go into that. But yeah. So that was my favorite movie, obviously, as a kid. Mermaids. I love the ocean, and then on top of it, redhead. Give me it. But Ursula, she, first of all, in the original script was supposed to be Triton's sister. So
I thought she still was.
She was in the Broadway play, but
I
not
feel
in
like
the movie. They did, at least they didn't mention it in the movie.
I feel like they probably have it as a deleted scene somewhere, because she mentions in one of her first scenes in the film how they used to do different things when she lived in the palace.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she's still considered a sister, just alluded to.
I feel like it's one of those things where she started to learn she could play with magic, and then she turned herself into an octopus.
Yeah. She definitely, she used to live in the palace, all that fun stuff. But on top of it, she gives the worst dating advice ever.
Shut your mouth and shake your booty is basically what she says.
Don't underestimate the value of body language.
Yes. So she gives the most toxic, like, advice to Ariel ever about how men on Earth don't like a lot of blabber. They think a girl who gossips is a bore. And that she's evil. And she has to me, Be Prepared is a good song, but Poor Unfortunate Souls, ooh, that is my top villain song.
That's a good song.
I want to say that's probably my number 2.
It's
Ursula is in my top 5.
I will
Ursula
say
is my top 5, not just the top 3.
No, she's great.
In the live action thing that they did recently, where it was like the Little Mermaid live with ABC, Queen Latifah played Ursula, and oh my god! And Melissa McCarthy is supposed to play her in the remake that they do. And like, while I'm not excited for the remake overall, I freaking love Melissa McCarthy, man.
I honestly would love to have a guy play Ursula as like a drag queen because the inspiration came from Divine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I get what you're saying about that. I think I'm just a huge Melissa McCarthy fan though, and I'm just excited to see her do it. I think with Ursula though, she does give toxic advice, but if you really think about it, up until about 20 years ago, that's what you had to do as a woman. Was it right? Absolutely not. But up 20 to 25 years ago, that was still a thing. Like, you sat down, you shut up, you stayed at home, and you made babies, and then you raised those babies while the man went off to work. Like, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's the right thing, but I would say within the last 25 years, that was still pretty standard.
I don't know. I think in like because it came out in 89, I think by the 90s, it was accepted that women like had voices. And so I think that was half the point of her talking about Ariel not having a voice, was because feminism was a huge thing in like the 60s and the 70s and so on.
So it has been since then too, yeah.
Yes. And so to make a movie in 89 where it's like, hey, you're gonna lose your voice, I think that was a big thing back then, probably culturally. And so I think Ursula still is a very clear villain for giving that advice, because women were fighting for their right for their voice back in the day. And so
I feel like they've been fighting for that forever, though. I mean, we're still fighting for it today.
Yeah, women are still very much fighting for their voice. So Ursula is still very culturally relevant. I think trying to silence women, because there are still women who very much think that advice is good advice. Even in high school, like me and my friends were like, oh, Ursula's totally right. Like, women need to shut up. And obviously I'm smarter now, but back in the day, I was like, well, we have the right to vote. What more do we need? Like, we can work, we can vote. But women, as you get older, you realize there's a lot you don't have that's equal. So I think as a woman, Ursula and the advice she gives kind of really resonates.
I think the one thing that The Little Mermaid lacks is the fact that, like, even though Ariel doesn't have a voice, she doesn't really fight for it.
Mm-mm.
There's no like, I want to keep it. Can we do something else? Because at least I feel like if at least she fought for it, it would give her like a little more character development.
Yeah.
But it's literally just, I'm going to steal your voice. And she says, okay.
Yeah. And that's like another sign of the time is women were fighting for their voice, but at the same time,
they just had to sit down and shut up. Because that's how they got what they wanted.
Yeah. So it's a weird one. But yeah, Ursula. She's cool.
Right, number 3.
My number 3. I don't like the film he comes from, but the Horned King is the scariest villain in Disney. I don't know. Have you guys seen The Black Cauldron?
Oh.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen like all of it. Like, I've seen bits and pieces. But I know who you're talking about.
He is terrifying and just truly the scariest looking villain. So there's not a lot of character development for him, which there doesn't need to be. Again, like Maleficent, he's just evil. All he cares about is evil. We don't need to know his backstory. We know he's going to do some evil. Okay, cool. But he is terrifying. Oh my God. He is the scariest villain. Like, he would give people nightmares.
Yeah, no.
He kind of looks like the Crypt Keeper.
He does. Black Cauldron as a whole, I don't really love the movie. It's okay. It's whatever. I'm a fantasy fan, but like, that's not It's not my favorite Disney movie.
You know who I'm surprised we haven't talked about? I'm surprised. I thought you were going to say Frollo.
Frollo, okay. Frollo's a good one.
No, I really thought when you said it was...
Okay.
No, but really though, when you said it was someone that from a film you don't really care for, I was like, it's got to be Frollo. Because even though The Hunchback of Notre Dame is one of the most beautiful in terms of just the intricate details, it's not my favorite.
Hunchback is one of my favorites as far as soundtrack goes.
Oh, yes.
That good soundtrack.
That soundtrack.
That
Should have been adapted. Beat it.
It should have been adapted to the stage way earlier than it was. That's how good it is.
Wait,
another one where they had
the stage.
Yeah,
it was, but it didn't make it to Broadway.
It didn't.
Oh, okay.
But it was still phenomenal. It played in LA for a while.
Also, oh my God, Patrick Page did Claude Frollo, who is in Hades Town as Hades. Tie-in.
Wow. So speaking of Broadway.
That's great.
But yes, Frollo is, he's terrifying in a very real sense, especially for women, I think.
I can't watch that movie at night because like I know that all of a sudden everywhere I look I'm just going to start seeing him.
Have either of you ever seen the meet and greet character of him?
Ooh.
No, thank God.
Absolutely terrifying. The character is it's a goof
He's
character.
Ridiculously tall.
Yeah,
right?
It's a goof character.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to explain what that is because Disney magic and whatever. But like he's a goof character, and so the goof character is here, and the face is up here.
Mm-hmm.
The goof character sees through the neck, and if y'all think about how tall Goofy is in the 6 foot range. Think about how terrifying that is. And there's like these like wide shoulders and just like sharp features, and it's just terrifying.
Guys, I just had Hellfire. Just Hellfire. Just like in my head right now.
Yeah.
A great song. A truly terrifying song.
Mm-hmm.
Frollo is truly creepy. Just in the realest sense of the word. Like any everyday guy could be as creepy as Frollo.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reality is that we're learning that there's just more Frollos in the world every day. And I think social media brings that out. Because there's a lot of people who aren't afraid to be who they are on social media, which honestly, you shouldn't be afraid to be your true self. Let's be real. Like if you are who you are, but
unless you're Ted Bundy.
Oh my God. I was going to like kosher and be like, yeah, it's okay to be yourself. Just try not to be a terrible person. And Nicole goes, don't be Ted Bundy. Like, no, buddy.
Please.
Explosion.
I'm going to side with Allie on
killer. Please do not be a serial killer.
No, seriously, don't do that.
No,
like, it's
do
not
that.
worth it. I mean,
don't do it.
Maybe you'll get a high from it, but like you can get a high from anything else. Have some alcohol.
You won't get a high from it
unless you're under 21. But drink with the Musketeers. Maybe if you're in a state where it's legal to have marijuana, you can do that. I don't know how old you're supposed to be for that. I don't do that stuff, so I genuinely just don't know. Do things that are legal that can give you the same kind of high. Please don't kill people.
Is it 18?
I have no idea.
all of this seriousness and like the scariness really makes me uncomfortable. Partly because I'm in my garage and it's nighttime. But I think something that would help me feel a lot better would be talking about some of our favorite love stories.
Let's do it. Why not?
So off the top of my
I feel
head,
like
I did
off the top of your head.
We discussed this earlier. So Allie can go last then. So
I have one. The Mandalorian and the Child. It's not a traditional love story, but it's a father-son love story that you don't expect. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Single dad. We love it.
Oh my God, yes.
We stand.
Keep going.
No, that's all I had to say. I just needed to make a point that I could think of one. Okay, let's move on.
I mean, no.
Hashtag improv.
He decides that he is going to save this creature that he doesn't even know because it has the cutest, biggest eyes.
So cute!
Ears!
There are pictures that just leaked from season 2, and I'm just like, I'm dying.
Did you see that they're gonna have Jango
Boba Fett
back?
Boba Fett.
Was it Boba Fett or Jango?
The actor that played Jango Fett playing Boba Fett because he's a clone.
Oh.
Shocker.
Never knew that. Also, did y'all watch the last of the Clone Wars?
No,
I did not. Jordan did though. My husband.
We'll catch
We
up.
only watched
We'll
the
catch
last
up
4
on it.
episodes.
We'll talk about that soon then.
Yeah.
So I've got a week to watch it.
Basically.
Hopefully.
But you know what?
Let's make it a 2-weeker because I'm still teaching right now.
Yeah.
But you know what movie I know you have seen, Allie? I know you've seen Tarzan, and I think Tarzan is one of my favorites because it's one of those rare occasions where the guy is willing to make the sacrifice.
Wait, how does Tarzan Jane sacrifices all of civilization?
No, but he's willing to make the sacrifice though. He puts on the suit and he gets on the boat. The only reason he goes back is because he has to save his family. He had no issues with leaving his family until he knew they were in danger, and that honestly they were in danger because of him.
That's true.
He led Jane and Clayton and Jane's father, the professor or whatever. He led them there. Ultimately, Jane made the ultimate sacrifice.
Oh, she did.
She did. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
But the fact that Tarzan,
she thrives.
I've seen Tarzan 2 or whatever, and I know that she thrives. Yeah.
Okay, I just watched the animated series when it was on, so I mean, I don't know.
I thought the second one was a prequel.
Is it a prequel? I feel like there is a Jane and Tarzan movie, so there might be 3 of them.
What?
I only saw the first one, honestly. I don't know.
I know the first. I remember. Let's listen. Okay, I remember the first one, and I remember the first thing I learned to sign was like finger spelling Tarzan.
Wow.
Because we had an ASL teacher come in to like my whatever grade class. I was in elementary school when it came out, and like very quickly finger spelled Tarzan, and we were all like, "What?" And she's like, "It's a very popular movie right now. What do you think I spelled?" And like everyone was like, "You moved your hands. None of us know what you're doing."
I learned how to do my name in like preschool.
I remember though seeing Tarzan in theaters, and the whole like going through the title where they were like going in between it. Oh my god,
that title is amazing.
Can we just appreciate the fact that NSYNC is on the soundtrack?
Yes,
I sang their version of that song of Trash in the Camp twice with 2 different a cappella choirs.
I don't like you.
Why?
Because I'm jealous.
It's such a hard song with timing.
I'm sure it is. I have no doubts about that, especially going a cappella. But I feel like Tarzan is willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, and he's willing to do that, but then he has to go back and save his family. Like, as soon as they're all in danger, and when I say they're all, I literally mean all of them, because they were all thrown in that, as soon as they got into the ship, they were thrown into the brig. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's not that he wanted to go back, because I'm sure he did. Who doesn't want to go back to your family? People with bad families, unfortunately. And if you have one of those, I'm really sorry, but you got a family in the Musketeers. So
we got you, fam.
So, but really though, like, he's willing to leave, and he says his final goodbyes, and just how many other Disney princes, Disney characters, of the male gender, like, do you know who would make that sacrifice?
Yeah.
Like, that to me is really like the definition of true love.
Well, a segue here. I sense a segue.
Oh my god, segue!
Hercules and Meg. Hercules sacrifices becoming a god for Meg.
So, segue back to the fact that we're talking about villains. The way that he goes, like, I'm gonna jump in that river of death and save her, and he's like, well, you're gonna die. I don't really see it bad. Like, Hades is like, I don't really see anything bad happening here, so like, jump in, I don't care.
Right?
Yeah.
But Hercules is so awesome. He saves Meg. I love Hercules and Meg's relationship.
Speaking of Disney villains, let's just segue back to that for a minute. Have any of you watched The Descendants?
No.
Yeah, I have.
Because I straight up binged all 3 of those movies. There's 3, right?
Were they good?
Sat down.
The
and I
second one
watched
is
them.
really good.
Overall impression, because I watched them all in a day and I don't remember which is which. Overall impression, pretty impressive, what they were able to do with it.
Yeah, my niece is like, before the whole quarantine thing happened, we would do weekly dinners with some of our military family, and they would come over and we'd watch a Descendants movie because that's all they wanted to watch.
Well, it's got music and it's got villains. Who doesn't love that, right?
You know what? Yeah.
The new Barbies are Monster High dolls.
Ugh.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
My little sister liked Monster High, so
like Allie's thank you gift from me and Jordan for planning our wedding was a customized Red Sox jersey.
And your first anniversary gift from me was one of the prints of the pictures I took at your wedding.
It was a canvas.
Mm-hmm. You still have it?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it's in a box somewhere.
Wow, that's how much you love this gift I got you.
It's okay.
Dude, the only wedding photo we have up is literally on the wall.
Allie,
is literally the picture of me and Jordan.
No, it's okay. It was up in Oceanside. I remember seeing it. I physically saw it, Allie. It's okay.
Listen, she's lived in 2 separate places then that she has owned.
No, it didn't.
In Indiana?
There wasn't space in Indiana on the wall.
I know for a fact you got space on the wall behind you. If it's in the garage, I don't give a crap. You hang up that thing. I took that picture. I printed that picture. I sent that picture to you. I don't even know where to cut this podcast at this point. Like, what are we talking about, y'all?
Villains.
You know what, guys? I think out of all of our experiences, though, I think I'm just glad that we all got to be friends and get to do stuff like this. So that being said, I just want to say #Golden Girls, thank you for being my friend, and cheers to the 3 Buzzketeers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we'll talk to you guys next week.